forever, and
I might go back to every week if that's still open.
Yeah, we can do that.
I'm struggling, tired.
Yeah. So you've been in a new job position for a minute. How's that going?
Oh, it's like it's going good. Like I'm picking it up. It's just like stressful because I'm still trying to figure everything out with it, and it's just it's been a lot, but it actually hasn't been that bad. So that's been really nice. And they had like nothing but good things to say. All my trainers and my supervisor and I sat down like last week, I think.
Yeah.
And they all had really good things to say. They said that they were surprised that I was picking it up so easily, and so that's actually been like the least stressful part. I've just been like super burnt out everywhere in like my personal life, and it's been hard for me to get to work on time like the past few weeks. Like today I didn't get to work until almost 9.
Okay, so pause. Take a deep breath. Okay. So, work is good. That's a good thing. Because I know before, in the past, it was super stressful and work was like a huge part of your stress in your life.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's shifted to where work is kind of turned into something good and like you're getting noticed, where before you felt like you were kind of like here and nobody was really paying attention and they were throwing stuff on you, and now you're in this better role and they're recognizing your hard work and getting the validation that you weren't getting before.
Yeah.
And so shifting to your personal life, still dating.
Yeah, and
Okay.
I just this week I've kind of been coming to the conclusion that I'm ready to just call it, throw in the towel.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm considering, and the only reason that I'm like having issue with this is like that I don't know if I'd be able to continue like this, but I'm considering moving back to Houston.
Okay.
I know. I'm just
so what's got you feeling like you're ready to move back?
Like part of me feels like I'm like running, like I'm just running from all this crap with my family, but then another part of me feels like yes, I feel like I've probably always had these issues, and moving back here made them, more, what's the word I'm looking for, more like just more amplified,
Right.
And I just feel like I don't know, like I just have been like I've been thinking about it like the past month or so. It's just kind of been in the back of my mind, and I've thought about it before, but it's just like I feel like it was necessary for me to come back for a little bit, and like I feel like if I had stayed in Houston at the time with the way things were going and the mindset I had, I probably would have continued to try and like get back with my daughter's dad and try and make things work. So I think that's like, and I knew I wanted to get closer to my family, and I just like, I feel like there's no, how do I put this? I feel like there's just no like support. There's no way from them. Like there's no way for me to like freely work on these issues while still dealing with it so much.
Yeah.
And I feel like I've tried to put distance between myself, and it's just like I just always end up like getting called back in, and like I just like the way that my family makes me feel about myself, and I don't think anyone's intentionally. I mean, there's probably a few people. I know my sister and my mom definitely are people who are like out to tear others down to make themselves feel better, but like everyone else, I don't know. I just am like, it's like I'm living in Houston still. Like it's just like I don't exist to them, and like that's okay. Like I'm not like expecting everyone to drop everything and come like praise me or anything, But at the same time, like I feel like I've put an effort to like build some sort of relationship, and I haven't gotten anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And like I couldn't even have a birthday party for my daughter when she turned 2 because no one was wanting to come. Like my own family, no one was wanting to come. Like I just don't feel like I have the same support that I give them, like at all. Like my family has been like asking me for money again, which is fine. I'm trying to help them out when I can. My sister found out she's pregnant with a 3rd kid.
Oh, wow.
She wants to go out of state and get an abortion. It's legal. I looked it up. We were looking it up, but she wants to. She needs money. She asked me Tuesday, I think she told me all this. Tuesday, yeah. And Monday night, like, I just was, like, thinking so much. Like, I couldn't wind down. I didn't go to sleep Monday night. Did not go to, like, and, like, by the time I could wind down, it was, like, 3 a.m. And I was like, I'm not going to wake up for work. So I, like, made myself stay awake past that point. So she's like freaking out all day Tuesday, texting me while I'm at work, like panicking. And she's like, come over as soon as you get off work, please. And like, she was asking me for money. And I was like, I can scrape together a little bit, but I don't get paid till Friday. So I'm a little short. Like, I'm a little bit tight on cash right now.
Right.
But I can scrape together a little bit to help you. And she was like, well, come over as soon as you get off of work. And I was like, I get off at 4:30. And she was like, okay. It starts getting time for me to leave, and she's like, well, I have a birthday dinner to go to, so I won't be home until 5:30. So I was like, okay. So I went to Christian's house to just like keep me in town for a little bit. And then I fell asleep at like 6 o'clock, still waiting for my sister, because she was like, I'll be home like 5:30. And so I fell asleep, and then at like 8:30 I finally woke up, and she had texted me and was like, never mind, like, I don't need any of that, like, I don't need the money, I don't need this, I don't need that, like. And then the next day was my niece's birthday, so I was like, well, can I come over tomorrow? It's Carla's birthday. I want to see her. Like, I want to make sure you're okay. And she just, like, didn't respond. Like, hasn't talked to me. Just, like, wrote me off because I didn't show up for her in the way that she wanted me to, or, like, it, like, needed me to. And it's like, I deal with that from y'all every time I need any sort of support. Like,
Right.
And it just, I'm just like, I don't know if, like, I don't know if I am running, like, from it. I just am like, I'm tired. I don't see a way for me to, like, fully deal with this stuff that I'm dealing with, like, with myself, and still be around them. And it's just like,
So what part of you felt, and I know she's your sister, I know you love her, and you've done a lot for your family financially when they need help, or you've showed up when they need help with the kids, or whatever it may be, that you've offered yourself, whether it's time or money. So you'd set some boundaries with your family prior with all of that, like saying, no, I'm not going to go every time you call, I'm not going to show up every time you need me to. So what part of you felt like you needed to give her that money when she has a job, right?
yeah.
It's her responsibility. They got pregnant. So why is it your responsibility to help her pay for an abortion? I'm just curious why you feel that way.
I think I was just worried because I know that when she got pregnant with my nephew, she was really depressed because she wasn't, I mean, it was unexpected, and this one's unexpected.
Okay.
And she had told the guy that she's pregnant with right now that, like, she wasn't on birth control, that she didn't want any kids, and I guess, like, the situation was at some point he took the condom off during intercourse, and then she knew that he had taken it off and told him he needed to pull out, and he didn't. And, like, she freaked out on him, and, like, now she's pregnant, and he's, like, not responding to her text. And I know that she has issues already with mental health and cleaning, and I mean, like, she kind of does it to herself because she drinks all the time, she smokes weed and stuff and does all that stuff, but I mean, like, so I'm sure that doesn't help. Like, you know, she's just not self-helping. That's what I mean by, like, she kind of does it to herself. She just doesn't really help herself. And then, too, it's also, like, I know I'm probably gonna be the one helping. Not that I'm saying that's a good reason, but it's just, like, I'm, like, I just had a few different reasons. And I felt bad for her. But, yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. I just felt, I was like, okay, whatever. Like, at this point, like, I can help you with that. But yeah, it was just the fact that I didn't show up in the way that she wanted me to. I didn't go hand over all the money at this exact moment she wanted me to.
Do you feel like you have been the rescuer in your family?
Yes, and I know that they would disagree with me, like, because to them I'm like the messy person. I'm the one who, like, you know, like, I'm just to them I'm like the young dumb sibling, like the one that, like, is just like, whatever, it's Kelsey, like, she's stupid, like, that's literally how they treat me all the time until they need something, and it's just like and then even like my little sister is calling me asking for me for money and stuff to give to her friends for gas money, and like that one's hard because I'm like, I know it sucks to be like 15, 16 years old, and her parents aren't around, and she doesn't have anyone. So, but it's just like.
So why do you feel like you need to rescue everyone?
I think it's like a sympathy or empathy thing. Like I think, like me personally, I think what it is, and I could be wrong.
Yeah.
I think what it is like I feel like because I don't have anyone that's there to rescue me when other people need the help, I'm like, I know what it's like to be in a shitty situation and have no help, so let me help you out. Like, and I'm just like, like I'm about to start crying. I'm so tired of that. Like I'm so tired of that. Like I'm tired of it. And then I feel like crap about myself. Like I have never struggled with self-hate the way that I have since I moved back to San Antonio. Like I really and I've tried so hard. I'm like on a daily basis, like every time like that negative voice goes, like that critic goes off in my head, I'm like, be kind to yourself, be kind to yourself. Like I'm just trying to get rewire my brain to just be like nice, like kind, like to just be kind to myself. And I just like the thing that links it to my family is that it's things that my family have told me, like things that they've said out of anger, things that they've like. And I'm a big person on like the things, like you know how they say like drunk words or sober thoughts or something. I don't necessarily believe that, but I do believe that like when people are angry, the things that they say to you are things that they've thought about you, you know, like, and it just felt like they couldn't tell you or something. I just am like, I want to go back to school. I want to like do things for myself. I mean, I do. I'm independent, you know, but like I don't want it to be a family discussion. Like even this, like even my mom, like they'll ask me how my therapy's going, and I don't tell them anything. Like I used to kind of talk about things with them, like about like things, not things we would talk about them, obviously, but just like you know, like the anxiety parts, you know, like the eating disorder parts and stuff, and they're just always like critiquing it and like. And it's just like I can't do anything without it being some sort of big family topic of discussion and everyone giving me their opinions and everyone.
So let's do a scenario. So worst case scenario, if you stay, okay. So what do you have here that is positive factors that would keep you in San Antonio? So what is good about San Antonio? What do you have?
I have my own apartment, but I can get that in Houston. Even my job, like I can get I have I have a location up in Houston that I can go to. I like the area. Like I you know it's nice. I don't know. Like I don't have any sort of relationship with my family at this point unless they need something, right? Like and I don't know. Like I keep looking at back at myself, like what am I doing wrong? Like what am I looking at wrong? Because I'm like I feel like that's such like a victim like mentality to have on the situation, and I don't want to have that. I don't want to think about it like that in that way, but I feel like I've tried so many different things to like try and like reach out and like build some sort of bridge with my family. Right. I don't know.
And going back to with your family, there's been this codependent relationship where they've depended on you, and yet they switch it to where they're making it seem like you need them or you depend on them. And so, being that you are one of the younger siblings and kind of putting you in that position of being a single mom and going through what you've been through, everybody's always going to look at it's harder to look at yourself than it is to look at everyone else. So obviously, you know, they're looking at you and not looking at their own thing and their own involvement in the situation. And for you to be able to self-reflect and say, well, what role am I playing in all of this? What am I doing to contribute to the stress in my life? And you have to ask yourself, so what are you doing to contribute to the stress in your life?
I'm helping them when it's stressing me out to help them.
And if not setting those boundaries with your family is causing more stress and more harm to you, then you have to ask yourself, is not setting those boundaries something that you can live with? Or, because you told me before when you started setting those boundaries how good it felt. Like, you felt good, you felt better, you were confident. I mean, you had it, not that everything was perfect, but there was a change. And then the minute you start letting those boundaries, kind of moving it a little bit, like that door was here and now it's kind of like this, like that those boundaries kind of have come down now, and they're kind of right back in doing the same thing as they were before, where they're just taking advantage of those things with you.
I'm just like, I can't stand it anymore. Like, I'm just like, I feel like even if I did continue to set boundaries, because I do see what you mean now. Like, I didn't even look at it as like I was letting them cross boundaries when she asked me for the money. I'm like, damn. But I feel like even if I do set boundaries, like, I'm always just gonna be like fighting just to maintain them.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, that's probably normal. That's probably okay. But it's like, I'm like, I don't want my daughter to go through that. I don't want to deal with that for the rest of my life, where I'm just constantly fighting them to maintain like basic human boundaries. Like, don't be a shitty person to me. And like, I don't feel like I need people. Like, I don't feel like I like need a relationship. Like, I don't feel like I need somebody around. But it's like, it'd be nice to like have people to hang out with and stuff,
Right.
to have like friends and stuff who were, on the same page. I don't know, like, not like that.
Right.
And
so it sounds like basically you want to set those boundaries and you want to have that, and the distance is good, but then it gets lonely when you don't have anyone around and you don't have support. And even though you're completely capable of being on your own and you don't need a relationship and you don't need all these things, you still need friendships and you still need interaction with people, because that's part of life. We all need that fellowship and that interaction. It doesn't necessarily have to be romantic. It doesn't have to be even family. It can just be people that we can do life with, people we can hang out with, people we can talk to. And so that's completely normal.
Yeah, like, not like
to think that.
Not like I feel like I can't be alone type thing, but just like, it'd be like, I don't know, maybe it like ties into being a mom. I just like want my daughter to have more people in life too. And like, I want them to be good people. And I want to like, I don't want to stay at this job. Like, if I could go back to my office right now and quit this job, even though things have been going good, I would. Like, I would quit it in a heartbeat, because this isn't where I want to end up. Like, and I just don't see a way that I can go to school and work and still be like independent and get the support I need from my family. Like, when I was in Houston, they would still call me for help. Like, they would still call me for help. But anytime I needed help, and I would do it. Like, I'd send them money. I'd freaking call the store, pay for it, do whatever I needed to do. But then, like, literally anytime I needed help, word for word, any of them, all of them would tell me, my mom, my brother, my sister, all of them would tell me, well, if you weren't so far, I'd help you out.
So, going back to that, so you said this, you're talking about moving back to Houston, and you just said that even when you lived in Houston, they would call you for money and you would do it. So, another question is, what is going to be so different from being here, being there, if the boundaries aren't in place? How is that going to change anything being there when they're still going to be calling you for money and calling you for things?
Well, that kind of changed. Like, when I got pregnant and I like started having a kid, I just wouldn't answer. Like, I wouldn't. I would wait like two or 3 days, and I'd be like, oh, I don't have it. Or like, after, like, when I was serving or whatever. But yeah, they also started calling me less at that point, because I was having a kid. But when they did call me, I was like, no, I don't have it. Like, or I wouldn't answer the phone. I'd be able to go to school. I'd have, like, not only just me, but Rowan would have, like, the support system that she needs, and she deserves more than just me in her corner. Like, as nice as it is to be independent, to not have all these people telling me, like, you know, I'm not gonna watch her anymore if you keep doing this and stuff like that. Like, as nice as that is, and as like, she deserves more than just me and her quarter, because I can't give every aspect of my life 100% at the same time. Like, you know, like that's stretching myself too thin, and so I'm like, I feel bad because she's just been getting so moody and going through these phases of like she just cries, and I can tell she just wants me to play with her. She wants connection, and I'm like busy. I'm trying to clean. I'm burnt out. I'm tired. I'm trying to get things. I'm trying to work. I'm trying to do all this other stuff, and like my poor kid just wants somebody to like connect with her and play with her while we're at home. You know, and I just like I don't know. I feel like part of me feels like I'm running because I feel like I'm admitting defeat where my family is concerned, but part of me feels like the other part of me that's like for it is like I feel like it's like a healthy option for me and my daughter to put that distance there.
So then, is it really defeat by setting a boundary in an unhealthy situation that you know is toxic for you and your daughter? Is it defeat to say, I'm going to set this boundary and create a life that's better for me and my child?
I mean, no, it doesn't feel like defeat. It feels like I'm just like running because it's too hard to sit here and set the boundaries. And I feel like I could set the boundaries if I wanted to. I feel like I could stay. I feel like I could make the decision to stay if I wanted to, but I feel like it's just going to be continuous fighting to keep those boundaries in place. I feel like I'd never be able, like, I'd be stuck at this job until I found a job that's equal in pay or pays more.
So if you stayed and you said you could work at setting those boundaries and doing those things. So you talked about having the friendships and like wanting more support for Rowan. So we talked a little bit before about maybe trying to get involved in like mom groups where there's single moms that have kids your age, or trying to connect. Like there's those meetup groups. I don't know if you know about that app. It's like and they have meetup groups all over the place, and you can like search specifically for single mom with young kids or whatever, and they have like they get together whenever that and have the kids get together, and then you're building kind of that environment for you and your daughter where you're making other friends, and it's not just your family, and connecting with other single moms who may be going through whatever you're going through. Have you considered like trying to get to know other people in the area other than just coworkers and things like that to kind of get out of the bubble that you've kind of been in? Or what are your thoughts on like trying to surround Rowan with like other people, friends, things like that?
So I've like, and like the friends I have, they try to be involved with Rowan. It's just like they don't have kids, so they don't get it.
Yeah.
Um, I've reached out to a few girls, and a few girls have reached out to me, even like that I went to school with when I lived down here, like middle school, and we all have kids now. And it's just like we talk about making plans, and then when I try to make plans, I get left on red, or like I have made plans. Like I went to that wedding reception, and I met a girl who was a single mom, and I made plans with her. And the day of it came, and I texted her, and she didn't respond. And then like 3 days later, I texted her again, and she was like, I'm just like super depressed, which I get. I've definitely been there. I've definitely done that. Where like I just like was like, sorry, I don't feel like going out anymore. And then I told her, you know, like let's get together when you feel better, and she's never gotten with me. You know, and that just keeps happening, and like, and I don't know, like I really don't know. I just am like, it's so frustrating because like I feel like like with the way things go here with my family, like I feel like I feel like I won't be able to like ever fully like not just be a mom and an employee, you know? Like I feel like that's the only thing I can do. Like I'm maintaining, and that's all I'll ever do here. Like I'll never be able to go further than where I'm at right now. That's how I feel down here. It's like and so it's just stressful, and then I'm like nervous because like I'm like, what if I move up there? What if I make the decision to move up there and then I'm stuck in the same thing? Like what if this is just a part of life that I'm supposed to go through? But I don't know. It's just something that's been like really heavy on my mind because I'm just like I'm so fed up with my family and having to deal with that constantly. And like, I feel like they're just like committed to seeing me as a child. Like, and that's how they make me feel. They make me feel small and like a kid. And I'm just like, even if I do set these boundaries, like, why am I working this hard to cultivate relationships with people who see me like that? Like, why? Why should I have to do that?
And answer that own question, because you said they make you feel small. So, can anyone make you feel small? Do you believe that anyone can make you feel small? Or are you allowing them to, what they say and what they do to make you feel small?
Yeah, no, that last part, you know,
Okay.
like what they're doing, and, you know, just the things that they say to me and the way they say it, what they're doing, it makes it. I'm allowing them to make me feel small.
So it sounds like it's hard when it comes to family, because family is forever a part of us, and that's the difficult part. And I think, being that you've been in this environment for so long, it's very hard to detach. It's very hard to walk away from a situation, especially with family. You know, other people can say, well, if it's a toxic relationship, you can get out of it. If it's a toxic family member, it's blood, so you feel an obligation or almost a responsibility because it's family. And so I think, for you, again, wanting to create a better environment for you and your daughter, and not wanting to feel this guilt and shame and feeling small and feeling all these things that, as a result of being around your family, and now you're carrying that with you. And then the battle of, well, if I say no, I feel guilt. If I say yes, I feel crummy too because I've been taken advantage. You know, that cycle. That setting those boundaries and removing yourself from that situation, is that really running, or is that saying, I'm done, I'm fed up, and I'm going to create a better life for myself, and if that means I have to cut ties with these people until something changes, and maybe you need to do that. It's kind of like when you're in an abusive or addictive relationship, that person keeps saying they're sorry, or they keep saying they're going to get sober, and know however many times, you know, you give them a chance, and they may sober up for a time being, and then they relapse, or they may not abuse for a while and they abuse you again, and you go through this cycle. The only way that's going to change is if you have to walk away and say, you know what, you need to figure that out for yourself, and then maybe they will, and then maybe they won't. And being able to live with that if I walk away from this, if I set these boundaries, not saying you'll never talk to them again, not saying they're still your family, but you're not going to give in when and drop everything and just run whenever they say run, or jump whenever they say jump. You have a daughter and a responsibility in your own life, and knowing that it's okay to say no, knowing that you're not hurting anyone by saying no. If anything, you are helping them, because then they're not being dependent. They're going to have to figure it out for themselves, and they need that. Because if they're just running to other people and letting other people figure it out for them, they're never going to learn. Your sister's never going to learn. Your mom's never going to learn. And that's why they're still stuck in that pattern, because they know, oh, well, I can just go and I don't have to deal with it. I can have somebody else deal with my problem, or I can have somebody else rescue me. And that has stunted them. And so you have to ask yourself now, whether you move to Houston or not, that issue's still going to be there. If you stay, it's still going to be there. If you move, it's still going to be there. And you can ultimately decide wherever you want to be. If Houston is where you want to be, if you feel like there's better opportunity there, you have better friendships there, Rowan's dad's going to be more involved, then you can ask yourself, okay, maybe this is a better situation. Because when you first moved here, you were getting out of a toxic situation and you wanted to try your family again. So you've tried. You're here. You gave it a shot. You see how things played out, and you see, now you're asking yourself, do I really want to sit around and be in this anymore? Do I want to do this and make these goals? Because you've talked about school from day one with me. And since you've been here, it's kind of been put back here. And now it's like, okay, well, what moving forward do you want for you? What moving forward do you want for your daughter? And what steps are you going to take to do that? And do you want to stay in this repeated cycle with your family, or do you want to say, I want better for myself, and I'm gonna do this? And so maybe make a list for your homework, and write down the pros and cons of staying in San Antonio and write down the pros and cons of moving to Houston and what that's going to look like. And then going back to your original goals, like, you know, when we did the sand train, you talked about what you wanted for your future and those goals, whether it's in forensics or whether it's, you know, doing hair, whatever that is a realistic goal of, okay, I can do this.